Not at all. And I'm dyslexic, so like telling a dyslexic kid that she will be able to write a book when she gets older, it would be like mind-blowing.
Whether it's just me being in the moment or shooting a shot, they need me. So I feel great. I sleep a lot, honestly.
You won't believe what happened with Caitlinclark's Nike shoe deal. The rookie was all set for her big release, but then Aja Wilson stepped in. Well, not exactly stepped in, but Nike had to make a tough call. Who do you think deserves the spotlight? The college superstar or the WNBA legend? Let's talk about Caitlinclark for a second. This girl is on fire. She's been crushing it in college, and Nike noticed. They gave her a crazy $28 million deal for 8 years. That's insane money for a rookie.
It's mind over matter. If it don't mind, it don't matter. So some of these things I'm like, I don't have time to be tired. At the end of the day, my teammates need me.
The way I was raised, basketball was something I absolutely loved to do, but there was a lot of other things I had to have done in my life.
Everyone was pumped to see her signature shoe hit the stores. But hold up. Something weird happened. The shoe release got delayed. Why? There's more to this story than meets the eye. It's not just about shoes, you know? This is about who gets recognized in women's sports. It's about fairness. Who deserves the spotlight more? The hot new talent or the proven star? That's the real question here, and it's bigger than you might think. Let's switch gears for a second. Remember Aja Wilson? She's been crushing it in the WNBA for years. But there's one thing she doesn't have that's causing a stir. Why is Nike making her wait? Aja Wilson is a force to be reckoned with. We're talking about a 3-time WNBA MVP, 2-time Finals MVP, and a 6-time All-Star. This woman is dominating the court like nobody's business. She's the kind of player that makes you stop and watch.
And that's not even an X and O's thing. That's just diving into the heart and wanting to. So for us to do that, we got to look at ourselves. We got to look at our
crazy because I don't think people understand how important this really is. This is huge. So Vegas, turn up. I saw the cops with our logo on.
No matter who you're rooting for. But here's the kicker. Aja Wilson doesn't have her own signature shoe. Can you believe it? A player this good, with this many accolades, and she's still waiting for Nike to give her that special recognition. It's like having a superhero without their cape. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, didn't Nike just give Caitlinclark a massive deal? You're right, they did. And that's where things get interesting. Nike's decision to delay Clark's shoe release isn't just about timing. It's about addressing a bigger issue. See, when Nike announced Clark's deal, it didn't sit well with everyone. People started asking questions. Why is a rookie getting a signature shoe before established stars like Aja Wilson? It's not just about the shoes, you know? It's about who gets recognized in women's sports. Aja Wilson, being the class act she is, didn't make a big fuss about it. When asked about the shoe deal controversy, she said, "But right now, I got some shoes that I'm hooping in. I'm going to take those on with my team any day right now." That's a jaw for you. Always focused on the game, always putting her team first.
And I feel like people can really resonate with that. So I never would have thought I would be selling a book, particularly with my face on it. Like,
can't reset anything at this rate, no matter who we're playing against. And I think we just lost that. We got to get that back. And that's not even an X and O's thing.
But fans and critics weren't as quiet. They pointed out the disparity in Nike's endorsement strategies. Some argued that prioritizing Clark, a rookie, over Wilson, a proven star, highlights ongoing issues of representation within women's sports. It's not just about who's popular right now, but about recognizing the players who've been putting in work for years. This whole situation isn't just about footwear. It's about equity and representation in sports, especially for Black athletes in the WNBA. Aja Wilson's story is a perfect example of this larger issue. Here's a player who's done everything right, who's at the top of her game, and yet she's still waiting for the kind of recognition that seems to come easier to others. So, what's Nike's game plan here? Why the delay with Clark's shoes? Is it possible they're finally realizing they need to address this imbalance? The pressure's been mounting for Nike to step up and give established WNBA players like Wilson their due. Nike's got a ticking time bomb on their hands. Clark or Wilson? Rookie sensation or proven champion? Their choice could redefine fairness in sports endorsements. Think about it. Nike's sitting on a powder keg, and they know it. On one side, you've got Caitlinclark, the hot new rookie with a $28 million deal. On the other, Aja Wilson, the WNBA superstar who's been crushing it for years. Who do you choose? It's not just about shoes anymore. This decision could shake up the whole world of women's sports.
You know, and it can be hard because there are moments where you don't always want to like pose for a picture. You just want to go and get your sandwich and eat your lunch. And
Deflections, she gets rebounds, she gets steals. So I think it starts with her, honestly. But I think just overall, we're moving and we're playing defensive.
When Nike announced Clark's deal, people lost their minds. And not in a good way. Critics were all over it, asking why a rookie was getting the VIP treatment while established stars like Wilson were left waiting. It's like giving the new kid at school the best locker while the senior class president is stuck with a broken one. Doesn't seem fair, right? But here's the thing. It's not just about Clark and Wilson. This whole mess is shining a light on a bigger problem in women's sports. Who gets the spotlight? Who gets the big deals? Is it all about the newest, hottest talent? Or should we be recognizing the players who've been putting in work for years? A'ja Wilson's been a class act through all of this. When asked about the shoe deal drama, she just shrugged it off, saying, "I feel like it's been on a lot of people's minds for a long, long time. She's focused on her game, on her team, but you can bet she's noticed the disparity. And it's not just fans and players noticing. Industry insiders are talking too. They're saying Nike's hesitating to release Clark's shoe before Wilson's. Why? Because they know they messed up. They're trying to fix things without looking like they're backtracking." Here's the real kicker. This whole situation is exposing some ugly truths about how we value women athletes. It's not just about who's popular right now. It's about recognizing talent, hard work, and consistency. It's about giving credit where it's due, regardless of race or how long you've been in the game.
Don't come, stay at the house. Children, drink some ginger ale, pop ginger ale. Drink responsibly, don't be crazy now.
Just the tenacity, the want factor, the physicality, like we just lost that. We had it in the first quarter, that's great.
But what if I told you there might be a way for both Clark and Wilson to come out on top? What if this whole mess could actually lead to something good for women's basketball? I know, it sounds crazy, but stick with me because the next part of this story might surprise you. Just when everyone thought Nike had fumbled, they pulled off a move that could transform women's basketball. The real question is, are fans ready for what's coming next? This whole shoe deal drama isn't just about Clark and Wilson anymore. It's sparking some serious conversations about women's sports and endorsements. People are talking, and not just about who gets what shoe. They're asking big questions about fairness, representation, and who really deserves the spotlight. But here's the kicker. All this noise might actually be a good thing for women's basketball. How? Well, it's forcing companies like Nike to take a hard look at how they treat female athletes. And guess what? They're starting to make some changes. You won't believe this, but A'ja Wilson is finally getting her own signature shoe. It's called the A1, and it's dropping in 2025. That's huge. It's not just about the shoe, though. This could open the door for more WNBA players to get their own signature lines. Imagine walking into a store and seeing a whole wall of shoes from your favorite WNBA stars. That's the future we're talking about.
At a better pace, and that's really hard to guard. That's not something you can scout for. So I think me and Kels have been playing with each other really well.
I think it'll be fun. Give me something to do all throughout the off season as well. Somebody to root for. But it's definitely still go Hawks for sure as well.
Now, think about what happens when both Clark and Wilson have their own shoes out there. It's not just about having more options for basketball gear. It's about visibility. It's about young girls seeing these amazing athletes and thinking, I could be like them someday. It's about changing the game, both on and off the court. But you know what's really driving this change? It's you, the fans. Every time you watch a WNBA game, every time you buy a jersey, every time you talk about these players on social media, you're sending a message. You're telling the big companies that women's basketball matters, that these athletes deserve recognition. So, what's next? Well, that's up to us. If we keep showing up for our favorite players, if we keep demanding better representation, who knows what could happen? Maybe in a few years we'll see signature shoes from Diana Taurasi, Breanna Stewart, or even the next rookie sensation we haven't heard of yet. All right, let's wrap this up. The Clark-Wilson shoe drama? It's not just about sneakers. It's about who gets recognized in women's sports and why.
To rest my body and when to get in the gym and do extra shots, but that's definitely something we love. Is like coming in here shooting late at nights or having some shooting competitions. It gets a little heated.
the way people have supported me, and whether it was at Iowa or whether it's now in the WNBA, they have really, supported me and loved watching me.
And you know what? It's actually a good thing for women's basketball. This whole mess is making companies like Nike take a hard look at how they treat female athletes. Aja Wilson's finally getting her own shoe, and that's huge. It could open doors for more WNBA players to get their own signature lines. But here's the real deal. This change is happening because of you, the fans. Every time you watch a game, buy a jersey, or talk about these players, you're sending a message. You're saying women's basketball matters. So what's next? Keep showing up for your favorite players. Keep demanding better representation. Who knows? Maybe in a few years, we'll see signature shoes from stars we haven't even heard of yet.